just your average everyday trucker, keeping it real. I'm your host, ChristopherBlodgett, and you're listening to Real Talk Tuesday. Well, it's that time of the week again. What do you think, Nala girl? Should we get started?
Oh.
Well, all right. This week's topic, everybody. Sometimes silence really can be golden. Hey guys, welcome back. Appreciate you guys tuning in with me on another week of Real Talk Tuesday. For those of you new to the show, I'm your host, ChristopherBlodgett, and definitely want to throw out some things. I know that I believe, and I'm all about moving forward, all about continuing to just, never quit, never give up, keep pushing, keep believing, all that fun stuff. I try to practice what I preach. So when I'm telling you guys, I'm usually doing the same thing as well. So with this show, it's been slow going because of the fact that I don't have a lot of free time. I do what I can. That's why I kind of record when I'm out here working, and why there's no video episodes, because kind of hard to do videos when you're on the move. It's one of those where technically it's possible, but I figure audio is one thing. When you're on the road or whatever, you'd have a headset, whatever, but video would just not look great, because, But I'm currently on my way back from St. Louis, on my way back to Lenexa, and I'm on this, I'm not quite at the halfway point between St. Louis and Lenexa, but getting close. But on this stretch of road, they did some construction, and so it's weird. It's like the new lanes have those ridges in the middle, in the lane. It's not off to the shoulder. The ridges are in the lane, so it's like you're going down the lane like you're supposed to, and you're in the. It's like, okay, this sucks. It's like for a couple of miles, and then the road curves, and then the ridges are back on the shoulder again. It's like, all right, thank God for that, but not much you can do about it unless I want to change lanes and get in the left lane or whatever. But and this week I try to do something different. Before recording, I made sure to I threw the headset on, and I disconnected the phone from the truck Bluetooth. Since somehow last week, I don't know how, but at some point my headset turned off or whatever, and I was connected just through the Bluetooth speaker or microphone in the truck, and And even though, I mean, I think when I listen back to it, because I do listen to my own episodes to make sure they're, which I'm glad I do, because there's been a couple episodes throughout the life of the show that when listening to the episode, I get to a point where it you hear something and I go, ah, shit. So I end up having to turn around and go back into the file again and open the project up where I edited it and added the sound effects and the background music and whatnot. I had to go back in there and figure out the point of the episode where it did that, and then figure out how to correct it. So somehow, I don't know how, like with this last episode, for those of you who might have listened to it before I got it corrected, because I listened to it within a couple hours after it posted, so it's like I'm pretty sure I caught it before too many people listened. But it was like, I think it was like an hour and 20 minutes long, and I think it got to the hour mark, so it had 20 minutes left, and somehow, because I added an extra little edit at the end where I see if because I got over the left lane hoping I could not be on the ridges anymore, and it looks like the right lane no longer has ridges, so let me get back over here. But somehow it was still 20 minutes to go. Somehow the extra addition I added, because when I realized when I recorded that, oh, never mind, the ridges are back again. I was like, man, get back over again. I was like, it's a little bit annoying when you go down the road, all of a sudden, like, even when you're not off the road, you're still, man. I'm tired. I don't have the patience for it right now. It's just like, all right, I'm gonna get over the left lane and hang out. Nobody else is over here, so no trucks or cars are near me, so I'm not, as a driver, I definitely am a firm believer in don't hang out in the left lane. Because the right lane, for those of you drivers out there that might hang out in the left lane, whether you're truckers or car drivers, I know a lot of car drivers will literally just sit in the left lane just because it's easier. Not supposed to do that, guys. Left lane is for passing, right lane is for travel. So, you should be in the right lane unless you're passing. You can get mad at me if you want, but that's literally how it's supposed to be. But, funny thing is my wife is pretty bad about it too. Like, whenever she's driving, I'll be driving, I'll pass somebody, I'll get over. Because that's what I do. Being in the truck, that's how I do it. When I'm in the car, same thing, I'll pass somebody, go ahead and get back in the right lane. I try to lead by example, And so she'll be driving, and I'll be right in the passenger seat, of course. And she'll be in the left lane. She'll pass somebody and hang out in the left lane for another 5 or 10 miles. And I think finally I'll look over, like, are you gonna get back over? Oh yeah. So she gets back over. It's like, you gonna get back in the right lane because it's not supposed to be over here. And she goes, oh yeah. I didn't think about it. I'm like, okay. That's fine. You do what you want. I don't care. I was just asking if you're gonna get back over. You don't have to get back over. You do what you want, babe. I'm just the passenger prince. But so I'm trying to think. I just lost my train of thought for a second. But so there's like 20 minutes left in the episode, and all of a sudden, for whatever reason, the main recording was still going. It hadn't got to the end of the regular episode. It was still, 20 minutes left of the main recording. But the end credits, the end, outro, sound effects, and the applause, whatnot that I usually close the episodes with, all of a sudden right there. And then there was my little addition where I came in there, did a second part, basically come on like, hey guys, so I'm just letting you know, I apologize, because I realized when I realized after the fact, when I recorded it, I went back in the file and I played it, and I could tell that, for whatever reason, you could hear everything in the background, because it was raining really hard, where, our usual Midwest hurricane-style monsoon type rainstorms that we get out here. You can hear that all in the background. I was like, what the hell, you know? I was like, why was it? And then, you know, I went to power my headset off, and it said powering on. I was like, why wasn't my headset on? Like, when recording, I was looking at the sound waves on the phone, and I could tell that, I mean, it looked like it does right now, where it's like, if I'm not talking, it's just a straight line, but then I'm talking, you see the waves, versus like if I record on my phone with the phone speaker, it'll just be non-stop massive sound waves because it's picking up everything. But I guess the when it's recording with the truck Bluetooth, I guess it's not quite as bad as recording just with the phone, because it, you know, you did hear the background noise a little bit, but, you know, it looked like I was recording with my regular mic. That's why I didn't think anything of it until I checked afterwards. It was like, oh, that doesn't sound like my headset. That's weird. All right, you know. So, but I did another little addition, basically. Hey guys, so you know, by the time you hear this, I'm gonna try to edit this, do some noise reduction or whatever on the edits, and see if I can get this sounding better. So hopefully by the time you guys hear this, it sounds better, blah, blah, blah. Well, 20 minutes from the end of the episode, all of a sudden I heard that, and the end credits and whatnot, and yet the main part was still going. I'm like, that's weird. Like, why is that 20 minutes before the, you know, before the end? And, you know, because it still had it at the end, too. Like, I had it in there twice. So I was like, that's really weird. So I had to go back in the file, and I went to that point in the episode, and I found it. And it's like, I was like, all right, how do I get rid of this? Because it wouldn't let me select. Like, it wouldn't let me select that individual part of the file because it was overlapped on one of the other files. So basically, it was like, I added a. It's funny, he just passed a JB Hunt truck that then I guess decided he was going to speed up and actually pass me. And I'm like, well, if you could go that fast, why were you going slow? Motherfucker, you know. Like, come on now. A lot of drivers out here do that shit. Like, they'll pass you, and they'll slow down, and you pass them, and they pass you again and slow back down. It's like, dude, I've got cruise control set. Like, move your ass. Don't be passing me and slowing down. Don't speed up really fast when I'm right beside you, and you speed up to all of a sudden match my speed, because then you're just being a dick. Whether you're a car or a truck, because truckers do it to me all the time, and I do have some cars and stuff, but cars will just take off. Like, I'll get up alongside a car as I'm passing them, and all of a sudden they'll just gun it, and they'll just disappear in the distance. Like, okay, well, you don't want me to pass you. That's great. Like, just get out of my way. But, so I went in the file, and I basically added another level, and I was able to move one of the files down so that I could separate, you know, basically, like, I could isolate the one that I was trying to delete, so that I could delete that one, and then I moved the other one back, and then deleted the extra level, and then went all the way to the end, and made sure that the exit sound effects, you know, closing pretty much sounded the way it was supposed to, resaved it, re-uploaded it to, my podcast hosts, and then, you know, continued, had to give it like half an hour or whatever for it to actually update on the, you know, on the platforms, and went back in there, and I didn't listen to the whole episode again, 'cause it was like 2 hours long or whatever, or like an hour, or it's like 120, so I guess, yeah, it was about a 2 hour long episode, but I went and scrolled ahead to that point in the episode to kind of check that minute marker, and it sounded the way it was supposed to. I was like, all right, cool, we're fixed. So, but that's why I listen to them, to kind of check it out, make sure everything sounds good, and see if there's anything I have to go in there and fix. Most of the time I'm good, but I'll listen to it and be like, all right, that sounded pretty good actually. But as far as sounding good and stuff, it's like I was talking to my bro Rico earlier, because one of the things that, again, one of the changes that I'm appreciative of anybody out there that's a new listener, because I've noticed with the little things I'm doing, I guess it's working, because literally within the past couple of days, I've seen a spike in like 300-ish downloads, and I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, most of the time, any spike I saw in the past was like, I might have seen like 100 downloads a week, but not like, 300, 400, 500, whatever. So I was like, I hope it keeps up. I hope what I've done is like, because if the trend keeps going, if the downloads keep spiking and keep piling up, that means that I might be able to put the show on my Red Circle advertising platform and literally monetize the show and be able to start bringing in revenue from the show, which would be awesome. But then I could, that's kind of where I understand with some shows, they have like they might not have much on Patreon, but they might have like ad-free versions of the episodes on Patreon, so that people that don't want to hear the ads, they can, be a Patreon donator or whatever, and end up having just the basic episodes without any like ads or whatever. I can see doing that and stuff. And that way you're still being able to do the ads, you're getting revenue from that, but you could also then still make a little extra because of having the non-ad versions available to listeners and stuff. So, little stuff that's little plans and stuff, things that I plan to do with the show that just require, resources, require time, but I was talking to Rico about, because I showed him, I was like, holy crap, bro, like, check this out, sent him screenshots of the downloads, and he's like, well, yeah, bro, I mean, that's great, and that's because, like, people want to hear what you're talking about, like, with me, that they didn't really care, blah, 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 that's why I was like, well, no, I was like, bro, you only did, like, 10 episodes and then quit, like, I thought your podcast was amazing, and I think you should totally jump back into it, not just do, like, a couple weeks, and be like, no one's listening, I quit, this is bullshit, It's kind of what he did before Sally. He did like 10 or 12 episodes, and like he had like maybe 4 or 5, like me and 3 or 4 others that were actively listening. And then he just gave it up. Basically, was like, yeah, I'm gonna, I was like, bro, I've been at this for a couple years. I'm still not where I want to be. I was like, but I'm actively trying to do it every week. I'm trying to do what I've got the new website up there, which for those of you who are new, again, BlodgettShowPodcast.com. And again, while I'm throwing links out there, anybody who wants to support the show, BlodgettShow.com, or actually, well, either one, BlodgettShow.com/support or BlodgettShowPodcast.com/support, and to check out his podcast, because I told him, I was like, hey, I got your link on my on my website or whatever, and I've been giving it out in the show, so that way hopefully it can drive people to go check you out as well. BlodgettShow.com/Rico, RICCO. And if I can remember to do it, I gotta add another link to my my site, because I just did this. I came across this video on YouTube earlier or yesterday. It's gum that helps like rebuild, repair, strengthen your teeth. Like makes them like literally like I guess it's like they got minerals or whatever in the gum. Apparently, supposedly the gum tastes really good, but even with its health qualities or whatever, but like strengthens the enamel, and basically your teeth end up looking healthier, and they shine them up or whatever. Off the top of my head, I can't think of the name of the gum. I have the site up, and I actually ordered a couple boxes earlier, and literally they got toothpaste, they got gum, they got all these different flavors of the gum, and just totally check it out. I'm thinking I'm gonna do, cause I haven't even put it on the site yet, but I'm gonna probably do that before this episode posts, so you guys should check it out. BlodgettShow.com/gum. That's GUM, or not that, GUM. Got a little tongue tied there. It's like, I don't know what I just said. But BlodgettShow.com/gum. So check that out. I got because basically as soon as I did a purchase, I got a message or an email basically about like, hey, would you like to be an affiliate? Like, would you like to get paid commission for referring people to this product? You know, you can give them a 10% discount and you can get 15% commission. And I was like, okay, sure, why not? I was like, because like when I saw the video about the product, I was like, that actually sounds really good. That sounds like something that both me and my wife could use. Like, she has worse teeth than I do, and I don't really have bad teeth. I got a few issues, but nothing major. But I know we could both use it and stuff. It would definitely help us out. As on the video, basically, the guy talked about like he'd been chewing the gum for a couple weeks, and like his teeth were no longer like sensitive to hot or cold, and that his teeth look shinier and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I'll give it a try. Because I mean, I'm a gum person anyway, but then I kind of stopped because, like, more often than not, I don't know about you guys, but I'd be chewing gum for like half an hour or something, and then like, the flavor's gone for like 20 minutes of that 30 minutes, and I ended up like, I've noticed that like after chewing gum for a little while, for like half the day, I might it'll seem like I can't seem to stop biting my lip or the inside of my cheek or something on accident. Like I'll be eating something, and all of a sudden I'll get that pain in the cheek, like where I ended up biting down. I was like, ah! Only happens when I've been chewing gum a lot. Yeah, the JB Hunt that just flew by me back there after I passed him just took an exit to exit off to the truck stop. I'm like, so you wanted to pass me because you didn't want me to be in front of you, but then you're exiting off to go to a truck stop anyway. So I don't understand. Most of the time in that case, it's like if you know you're getting off the interstate in a couple miles, just stay where you are. Don't fly by somebody only to get off. Especially when you're right in front of them. Some people will go fly by a car or a truck, cut over in front of them, cut them off, and then within half a mile be exiting off the road. It's like, what was the point of you passing me then? It's like, But I told my bro Rico, I was like, hey bro, I'm just actively trying to get in front of people. I'm trying to become visible online, whatever. And he was like, well, yeah, I was doing that. I was finding those free traffic sites and listed my link to my show, blah blah blah. I told him, like, well, maybe you need a website, through GoPod, who did my new website. I was like, maybe you need to do something like that, and that way it's not just sharing your podcast link, but actually having a website for it. But I didn't really push too much because I figured he usually love the guy, man, my best friend, basically like a brother, but he already had, because he's done a lot online too, so he already has an idea of what he thinks is better anyway. So I'm like, I don't really push too much. I'm like, all right, that's fine, Hell, I've done things. He was like, well, I wish you the best, man, but I wouldn't have done it because that's too much of a risk. Blah blah blah. Like, okay, well, I was like, I'm all about trying to figure out how to do this as a podcaster full time, as well as working on doing an online e-commerce store, and got books. At least one novel that's like 75% completed that I gotta finish, and the Blodgett Show short stories, those volumes, got one technically done and got volume 2 like halfway there. I got stuff in the works. It just needs me to have time and a little extra money to be able to get them done. Money's not as much the issue as much as time. I just don't have the time. But eventually I will. So, but Rico's life in general is a little bit easier than mine anyway. I think he's pays like a couple $100 for his apartment. He's in the affordable housing or something, with the state or whatever. And it's not a very big place, it's pretty small from what he told me, but a couple $100 for the place, then he doesn't have to pay any utilities or whatever, which I'm like, that's pretty nice. We're paying like $2,400 easily just for our rent, and then $300 or $400 for our utilities. So it's like, And then, of course, you add, like, my truck payment, you know, my Silverado payment. It's like $800. Been helping the wife for her payment for a couple months. You know, she actually just paid one of her payments this week. I was like, ooh, thank God. Because I was thinking she was going to have me pay it again. I was like, I can do it, but, you know, kind of trying to make things happen for us. It's kind of hard to do when I'm literally paying everything. But, you know. So, so to get on to tonight's topic, so I don't have this be like a 2-hour long episode. We haven't really even got into the stuff yet. The topic being sometimes silence is in fact golden. I was kind of thinking tonight that this kind of the inspiration kind of comes from dealing with like the people you're close to, like family, like kids, your wife, your husband. Hell, it could be anyone else you're close to, like friends or whatever. But let's say that I think I'd mentioned in the previous episodes where I kind of feel like I'm on my own a lot as far as trying to keep everything going, like trying to accomplish stuff for the fam, trying to get us the house, trying to get me off the road, retire, you know, basically home full time with the financial freedom, time freedom, and then trying to help the wife get her food truck or restaurant off the ground. I'm literally always trying to figure this shit out. I don't know. I mean, based on what I see, I don't think my wife is actively trying to figure those out. I think what she does is, it's kind of like when I've talked about in previous episodes where there's like dreamers and then action takers. Dreamers are the ones that'll say someday, eventually we're gonna do such and such, or I can't wait until we, you know, but they never take any action on it. They literally, it's always someday. We'll get there someday. Hell, my wife right now actually tells her mom like that me and her that, oh, we're working on our credit, we're fixing our credit so we can get approved for the house. And I'm like, we are not doing shit. She's not working on her credit. Like, it's literally like I'm in there with helping hands, and you know, got an active account with them, and they're sending off letters, and you know, they're doing this, they're doing all the stuff that they normally do. And my credit has improved slightly, and I've actually gotten a few small credit cards, like $200 here, $200 there, but you know, I think I'm like, they've just sent the second round of letters, and I was like, hey, how long, like how far down the line do I actually see like, or the big changes like the mass deletions? Because they've actually frozen a couple of my secondary credit bureaus, which I guess that's one of the crucial steps. That's how they get stuff deleted. So that when those are frozen, the main credit bureaus can't verify your stuff, so then they end up having to delete the items. So I was like, how far does that happen? He was, usually it's like month 4. You know, it might be as late as month, like 6 months in, but usually it's like by the fourth round of letters. Usually by that point you start seeing a lot of stuff drop off. I'm all right, cool. So that means you know, within the next, because it's like we're month 2 right now, so at least within the next 4 months, I might be like, hey, I wonder if I can get approved. I can go ahead and try to talk to the mortgage lenders and be like, hey, my score rapidly has gone up. Can I get approved, or do I need to wait another couple months to see where we're at and see how much higher it goes? But if you're looking for credit repair, I've dealt with a lot of them, like Lexington Law Firm, a couple other ones too. But you should definitely give Helping Hands a shot. I think it might be, maybe it's like helpinghands.com probably, but if not, feel free to drop me a line at blodgettshowpodcast@gmail.com, and I will relay, you know, either relay your information to the people I'm working with so they can reach out to you, or I can get their information over to you directly, you know. But either way, it's definitely worth it. You know, they get a lot of stuff deleted, and they freeze your secondary bureaus. You know, it's a slow process. It's not, you know, it could take up, like, depending on your credit, it could take 6 months to a year to actually like be where you want to be. But, and I don't like, I mean, I want to, it's like I was telling Rico that, like, I've been kind of, I was like, hell man, try to become this, you know, financially free, independent, you know, work from home, like home full-time entrepreneur, you know, making money online or whatever. So I started trying to do that back in 2011. Did a video that I put on YouTube. Hell, I think I might still have that video on one of my channels I don't use. It's still on there. I think I might have like made it private so it would, like, it wasn't gonna like be visible to people, but you know, it was basically random. This is some, I don't even remember what kind of opportunity it was online, but it was like back in the day when we couldn't record YouTube on our phone. It literally had to be on the computer because smartphones were really new back then. And hell, it's like back then I wish that I knew about Bitcoin, because I totally would have invested in Bitcoin back then, and I would not be doing what I'm doing now. But or maybe I would, I don't know. But we would own a house. We would, you know, maybe Allie might not have moved because she had things pretty easy anyway when she was here, because I was handling everything, and you know, she basically just in her room all the time. So it's like, and then, you know, not really offering to help. That kind of ties in a little bit to the topic, as far as like sometimes silence is in fact golden. I don't know if you guys have the same issue. You know, my drivers out there, when you're especially a solo driver, or even if, let's say, you're somebody like, let's say you're stay-at-home parents or something, so even though you're with your kids, you're kind of home alone, kind of. You know, so it's just you and your thoughts, which is something I struggle with out here a lot. I'm always thinking about either things that happen, either, let's say, between the wife and her best friend, or before that, or actually like my daughter Allie, you know, up and leaving out of the blue, like years back or whatever, with her older sibling that lives out here. You know, just literally like one day everything being fine, the next day all of a sudden she's leaving. It's like, and she's pissing at us about something, and we didn't hear from her for like 2 years, and shit hit the fan, and we actually, like, I went from thinking I was like gonna be pissed at her forever and like, fuck her, I'm just, you know, screw her, blah blah blah. You know, I'm not like, yes, my daughter, but she can go, like, she can go F herself, blah blah blah. You know, I was pissed. But then when things hit the fan for her, and all of a sudden it was, hey, mom and dad, I need help. Can I come home? We dropped everything and came out here and got her and our grandkiddo. And honestly, oh wow, literally just like a deer, like perfectly on the center line, you know, not either lane. I'm like, oh wow, like that, either somebody moved him or moved it, or it got hit and just landed there because it wasn't in either lane. I was like, oh wow, like that deer somehow, man, is like dead right in the center, like smack dab center of the two lanes. Yeah, just literally, speaking of like biting her lip or tongue or whatever, it's like literally just not bit my tongue. I'm like, ow, that hurt. And that bit my tongue. I'm not dead. I've done it so hard before where I, like, you can tell without seeing it. I'm like, I'm bleeding. I can tell. I can taste copper. Oh man. But there's nothing you can do. It's not like you can, like, put something on your tongue to, like, try to, like, stop the bleeding or whatever. You just kind of, it just bleeds for a little bit, and then it'll just stop. I remember getting the Ladex afterwards, and I went in there to use the bathroom, and of course, then you wash your hands. I look in the mirror and stick my tongue out. You can see a nice red dot right in the middle where I had bit it hard enough that it was like freaking made it bleed. I was like, yeah, that's why it hurts. It's like, I'm not doing any Listerine right now. It's like Listerine in a, you know, when you got like a cold sore that's open or something in your mouth, or like bit your tongue, made it bleed, you do Listerine, and you're like, oh, it burns. So it was one of those things where I was really surprised at myself, because like my wife, she up and left right away. Like my mother-in-law flew her out here to Kansas because my daughter and my grandson were there with her grandmother. You know, and she was calling us saying, you guys need to come out here and get her. Like, she needs to come back home with you guys. And we're like, well, tell her to call us. Like we're we're willing to come out there, but we want her to talk to us. And she wouldn't. And my mother-in-law was like, she ain't gonna do it. I'm gonna fly. She's like, my wife, she's like, Aaron, I'm gonna fly you out here, and you and her are gonna talk. Like, I'm gonna put you guys in the same room. And my wife's like, okay, if that's what you want to do. She's supposed to work that day, but she called out and be like, yeah, I need today and tomorrow off because my mom said my mom is flying me out to Kansas to deal with Allie or whatever to reconnect. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, we totally got you. Like, let us know how it goes, blah, 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 because Allie used to work at that restaurant that my wife was working at the time. So they knew Allie and stuff. So when it came down to when my wife flew out here to get her, or to reconnect, we didn't pick her up yet. We came by, I think it was like the next week. So it was like Monday when she came out to visit, or came out to reconnect, and then we came out here the following weekend. Drove out Saturday, came up, I don't think we got a U-Haul that day. I think we just loaded whatever we could in the bed of the truck, my Ram, and then drove back, and then we came back up here within like a month or two with the U-Haul, or we came up here and got a U-Haul trailer to get the rest of her stuff. Made a week of it. We came up here and took like an actual vacation for like 10 days. Near the end of it, we went ahead and rented the U-Haul and loaded it up. Got all her stuff in the trailer, loaded what we could in the bed of the truck too, then officially moved them back home with us in Nashville. So, but then she moved recently, on good terms technically. Like we're not on bad terms with her. The only issue with her is like, one, like I mentioned, it like just in general, being the major breadwinner at home, basically the one trying to make stuff happen. And maybe my wife is actually, because, I mean, we talk and we go on dates, whatever, but I can't say definitely that she's not actively making plans on her end. I don't think she is, but I don't know for a fact. I'm just throwing that out there. But with everything I do, there's never a, hey, we really appreciate you. I know that this would happen if you weren't here. And I'm thinking like, yeah, if I walk away and took everything I brought to the table, like, my wife would be screwed. And I got my youngest at home still. Of course, like, you know how it is. You don't want the kids to suffer, So when I found out about something, probably like 4 years back, something like that. It's like 2022 at least, I think, when I found out something. I almost walked out the door and left, but literally my wife and my oldest were at work, and it was like 5 a.m. at that point. I was coming down from having my drinks on one of my nights off, and my youngest kiddo and my grandson, who was, I think, he might have been like 3 at that point. Or maybe 2. So yeah, he might have been like 2 at that point or whatever. They were upstairs asleep, and I was like, man, if I leave, and I we get a divorce, like, literally, I don't know if I would see my kids or my grandkid. And, like, I love my job, and I don't really want to stop and leave because I would lose everything. And I thought, well, it's not fair for me because I wasn't the one that made the dumbass decision. Like, I didn't do I'm not going to specifically say what it was that happened, but it was something that normally people get divorced over, and it's like, yeah, better. So I kind of confronted her about it and stuff, but like I stayed, and it's still one of those, like, even though we kind of moved past, it's one of those things where sometimes you can forgive and forget, but a lot of times, depending on what it is, all you can do is just try to be okay. Like, you can't really forget, you can't really 100% forgive, but so we get all the way to current, and like I mentioned in the last episode, it's like just trying to be, you just want to be appreciated, you want to be acknowledged. Like, it's like with the kiddo, it's like I told my youngest, like, I don't need you to buy me stuff, like, I'm totally cool, like, there's like special occasions, because she's an artist, she's get ready to go to like an art university here in Kansas. You know, because she's graduating high school, and so we're really proud of her, really like psyched. We're like, that's really awesome. My parents are even like we're just really excited that Lizzo is actually like she actually wants to do something. I'm like, yeah, like us too. Like it's I mean, it's not any different than like like I went to school for hospitality. I got a degree in hospitality management, being in hotels or apartment complexes, and I'm out here driving trucks. So I have a degree, so I can say I'm quote unquote educated. I think that's something that me and my brothers, or I'm not exactly, we're not on speaking terms anymore. I don't think either of them has actually gone to college or whatever and gotten a degree. I mean, they're both financially much better off than I am currently, but I'm more educated than they are, so But so it's just one of those things where you want to be appreciated, you want to just acknowledgement, like, hey, like we really appreciate you, and like thank you for everything you do. But most of the time, I feel like things are expected at home, like it's just gonna happen. Like I'm just gonna do it, whatever. And most of the time I will, But to kind of tie into part of the topic as far as like silence being golden. When my daughter left this time, she told my wife, "Oh, it's not gonna be like last time, Mom. Don't worry." Like obviously my wife was like, "Yeah, because your grandmother paid for your phone up until like next year, like paid for a full year of service for." When she bought her a new phone for Christmas or whatever. And she's like, so obviously, like, you can't use the excuse that you don't have a working phone. I'm like, until January. And then she'd be like, oh, my phone's off again. Hopefully not. Hopefully she gets her feet on the ground and gets moving or whatever and actually, like, pays her bills and things work out. That's the thing. When she moved out, it's like, we were kind of like, neither of you has a really high-paying job, and it's one thing I'm gonna go live on my own, and like you're set up, like you have like a career, you have you got lots of money in the bank, like you're good. There's a financial plan, but it's just, well, I'm working this $15 an hour job, getting like 30 hours a week, and I'm trying to put money into savings, and to plan for the move, and plan for the new place. Like, yeah, but unless you put thousands aside, you're going to burn through money really fast. But we didn't really say much because we thought, well, like, she's 25. She has to go live her life, despite what all you can do out there, guys, like, especially with your kids, is you can just try to do your best to try to give them the best advice possible. To try to, guide them. Because hell, that's why with my parents, Mom and Dad, if you ever listen to this podcast, I love you guys. But like with my parents, there's been, and maybe they might not even remember this. I haven't done it in a while, but there's been multiple times within the past, like probably 2 years, that I've literally said, when we're going back and forth talking, and I'm like, Mom and Dad, I'm sorry, I apologize from the past, because I know that there are things I did, there are decisions I made that you guys tried to advise me against, and you guys obviously knew better. But being young like I was in love with my ex-wife, and I thought I was making the best decision. And looking back now, I should have stayed in college and tried to get my degree back then, because I wouldn't be in too much in debt right now, because my parents would have handled school for me a little bit. But I look back now, and I'm literally like, and hell, there's other things too, like, we moved from Iowa to Philly. I was renting my grandparents' house from my parents, and they were only charging us like $500 a month. I'd been unemployed for a year, hadn't been able to get in anywhere, and I recommended to my wife, hey, why don't we go out to Philly, near where her birth family is, like, we can get to know, like, your birth mom and your grandma there, and your stepdad. And she's like, yeah, that sounds great. So we moved, and we went from like a $500 a month rent to damn near $2,000. It was like $1,600. Still better than what we're paying now, but this is back in like 2011. and it was like a 4-bedroom. It was like it had 3. Actually, let's see. Yeah, it was a 4-bedroom, I think, because it had 3 main bedrooms. Because it was a 3-story, what they call a twin unit out there in Philly. So it's like a one big house that's kind of like a duplex, divided into 2, and it's 3 stories. So we had our 3rd floor basically was like one big room. So we used that. It was kind of like a storage area, kind of. You know, we went up there every so often, especially if we wanted to see down the street and something was going on. We'd go up on the 3rd floor and look out the window down there. Oh, we can see. Oh, that's what's going on. All right. That way you didn't have to like make yourself obvious that that you were, you know, trying to eavesdrop, see what was happening. People getting arrested in the neighborhood or something. But I look back now, and of course I apologize to my parents. You know, like, hey, I'm sorry. Like, I should have listened to you. You know, multiple times you tried to tell me, you tried to advise me, and I did my own thing. And basically, you know, the funny thing is, parents out there, you know, I know now because I'm experiencing it with my kids. My kids basically don't listen to us either. They kind of do in certain parts, but your kids pretty much are gonna do what they're like. They may not agree with you, and they're gonna do what they're gonna do. You know, sometimes kids be, yeah, my mom actually makes sense. Like, I should do that. Case in point, when we moved out here, we knew that my oldest, Allie, you know, she wanted to move to Georgia to be with her boyfriend. But my wife had talked to her a little bit about, because we're moving out here, and you know, I got us literally, and that's why I said like I literally take care of everything, because I found the leasing people, like the company or whatever that had these houses, and I saw like, you know, went on their website, saw like the 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, and like, oh wow, like 2-car garage, blah blah blah, rent around like $2,200, and forwarded that to my wife and my daughter. I had my youngest out and about with me at the time, because I had just gotten like a VA disability back pay or whatever, because that when I upgraded it last. So I was getting new tires on my truck. We taken it over somewhere to Pet Boys to get not a tune-up, but like a alignment done on the truck. And while sitting there, I was sending the house rental company or whatever, sending that information to Allie and Aaron, and basically like, what do you guys think? Like, it's half an hour outside of Kansas City. It's far enough to where probably wouldn't have the mother-in-law always over at her house, but close enough that we could visit her, she could visit us. Like, what do you guys think? And both of them were like, yeah, let's give it a shot. Okay, I was like, because I have the money to do the application, you know, the deposits and whatnot. I can do that. I would just need to send you guys, you know, the stuff you guys, because everybody over 18 had to be listed as the occupants and literally put in an application to get approved. So they're both like, yeah, send us the stuff. All right. I did an application and then forwarded, you know, I paid the application fee for the 3 of us, and I forwarded the information to Aaron and Allie, basically had them fill their stuff out, and submitted everything, paid the fees, whatever, you had to, when you applied, I had to pay the deposit, which I'd emailed asking, like, I'm a little hesitant because I don't want to pay this $1,200 deposit and then get declined and to be out that money. Like, no, if you get denied, you get your money back. Oh, okay. No, you don't get your application fee back, but you get a deposit. Okay, that's fine. I can live with like being out a couple $100. I just don't want to be out like another $1,200. You know, but all right, that sounds good. So I applied, got us in there, or got us. Technically, it's like a week later, I got an email like, you're approved, you're conditionally approved. Oh, okay. And they gave me a choice, like, well, so you got conditionally approved, you can either do it with a cosigner or with another $1,200 deposit. I said, I'll do the extra deposit. And I was ready to pay it right there. I'm like, hey guys, let's like, how do I pay that deposit? No, you pay that on your first month, when you pay rent the first month. Oh, okay, cool. Because we weren't moving in for a couple months. It was like March, and we were moving in June. I was like, sweet. So we had like 3 months. It's all got to pay. I think it was like the deposit plus the first month's rent. I think it was ended up being like $3,600 when we moved in, which I was like, all right, that's fine. But you know, I made it happen. Like I got us approved, figured out the financial part as far as like, you know, that's why I'm digging out of the hole up here, because, you know, we had the issue with the moving company, you know, jacking up the price. You know, again, guys, avoid Planet Movers out there. You know, company out of Jersey, and avoid Starline Van Lines. If you're gonna move and you look up, you know, information online, you see them, run away. What I learned, and of course that's something you learn through life experiences, like, so it's like, oh, well, I wish I would have known that before, because I thought I was doing the right thing, but you know, my wife talked to my daughter coming up here, and she again was pushing, like, we should move to Georgia. We're like, we don't want to move to Georgia. And there's nothing for us in Georgia. Like, yeah, there's something for you, but we're not going to just move down there because you want to be with them. If you want to go down there, you know. But she's like, no. So I was like, I have the house out here. Like, you know, are you moving with us? Yeah, I'm coming with you. Okay. So my wife talked to her, like, well, maybe you should, like, just give it a couple years. Like, I know you want to go to Georgia and be with him, but maybe give it like 2 or 3 years. Let the grandkiddo, you know, let your kid, like, have stability for a couple years, and don't, like, uproot him again, you know. And then, you know, if you want to move, or if you can find a place out there, because there's other places out there in Kansas City. And my daughter's like, yeah, that sounds great. That makes sense. You know, that definitely makes sense. Like, I should definitely, like, we'll look into that and stuff. But then, like, 6 months after living here, her boyfriend Logan had come out here a couple times. Then all of a sudden, I was hearing, oh yeah, Allie's moving to Georgia with Alex. I'm like, huh, okay. I thought she was gonna try to stay out here, and then, you know, but I guess her boyfriend doesn't want to leave his parents, because he lives near his parents or whatever. And she said before she left, well, maybe after a couple of years, or maybe he'll get tired of being close to his parents, and then he'll come up here to Kansas. I'm like, yeah, but by that point, you no longer have, like, your bedroom and stuff here because you moved, so we're converting those rooms to offices. That's how we move forward. We had to do that in Nashville when she up and left really quick. You know, like, we struggled for a while until I finally convinced my wife to let me and my youngest basically, you know, clear out her old room. She still had a lot of her stuff, but I didn't think she was coming. I didn't think we were going to reconnect with her. I thought she was gone for good, and kicked us to the curb, didn't want anything to do with us. I'm like, I ain't going to hold on to her stuff on the off chance that she's going to come home. Like, that's torture, you know, seeing the grandkid stuff. I mean, we donated a lot of stuff to Goodwill. I think we trashed some stuff. You know, some stuff we were able to store, like, put away in, like, certain closets or whatever. But the bed, you know, we had a friend that needed a bed, so we were like, hey, if you could take it apart, you can have it. Like, okay, yeah, I'll come over there, and, you know, he took it apart and took it. It's like, when you leave home, take your stuff with you. So when she left this time, like, she temporarily had talked about, like, her boyfriend having a queen bed, and we'd given her a king bed. We got a king that's a little fancier when we got here because we didn't have our stuff. And then when we got our stuff, we had a king bed from Nashville. We went ahead and gave her, along with, like, dresser, and so she actually had furniture in her room, and her kiddo got my youngest's old bedroom set, so he had you know, dressers and a bed and whatnot. She was like, oh, well, like, Logan has stuff. And we're like, no, Allie, take your stuff. Like, don't leave your bed here. Don't leave like, anything you leave here is probably going to get donated or whatever, because we're not leaving those set up as bedrooms. We are going to have, like, bedrooms or couches with pull-out beds in those rooms, but we're going to have, like, office desks. Maybe one of them, like, the upstairs office, I'm thinking about maybe put, like, workout stuff, you know, like some weights or whatever. Like, it's going to be a room where you can go hang out, get on the computer, do work if you need to, or, you know, how, like, bookshelf full of books, you know. turning them into positive spaces, you know, moving forward, because that's kind of what started to help us heal down there in Nashville. We cleared that room, turned it to put a couch in there, put an entertainment center in there. My youngest daughter started taking it over, like literally turning it into art, like putting art projects in there and decorating it and stuff. And she and I would go in there and play on the PlayStation 3 or whatever, playing Call of Duty or whatever. Sometimes I'd go in there and we'd literally put a movie on that TV upstairs instead of downstairs, and you know, just hang out and watch a movie. And it was like, this is nice. Like, I'm enjoying this. This is really cool. And we actually started to heal, like started to, you know, not be like as depressed and heartbroken because of our daughter and our grandson up and leaving and not having any contact with us. So, like this time when she left, at least we're on good terms. But again, before she left, still struggled with I only get called or texted when she needs something or she needs help with something. Have not heard one peep from her since she left, and I don't want to constantly be the one to be messaging her, you know. Like, I'm not even sending updates, like pictures of the dog or, you know, things we're doing with the youngest, with her, you know, the youngest kiddo who's still at home, going to be a future college person. I thought about like sending updates and stuff, but I'm like, yeah, but you're not really messaging us. Like, she's not a big texter, not a very big caller, and I'm like, I don't want to be the one to always initiate contact. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep quiet. I'm not gonna say anything in the chat. Like, I'll respond if she said something. And to kind of go with the topic, as far as like sometimes silence is in fact golden, is when you get stressed out. Like for me, like if I get stressed out about stuff, which happens a lot. Because of being a driver, I'm out here alone with my thoughts. Like other drivers out there, you guys probably could kind of sympathize with me a little bit, because I'm sure you guys probably deal with it too. That's why, honestly, like doing this show for me is kind of like therapy in a way too, because I could just real talk with you guys, and it kind of gets it out there. Instead of keeping it in, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna just make a show about this. But I was just taking a swig of water, so apologies about that. Had the bottle in my hand for the past 5 minutes, and I finally just took a sip. Had the lid off and everything, just hadn't taken a sip. I was like, oh yeah. So, but I'll notice when I get stressed and I start to think about some certain things that might be bothering me or whatever. Like, it could be like when Allie was here, it'd be like dishes piled on the counter, and I go off at everybody in the chat, like, guys, like, what the fuck? Like, can we please not leave dishes with stuff caked on them, piled on the sink, in the sink or whatever? Like, can we please rinse off our stuff? So I'm fine with loading in the dishwasher. I don't care, whatever. And then I end up in a fight with the kids, because like the youngest going off at me in the chat, like, yeah, try to do such and such, and blah, blah, blah. Stop swearing at me, Dad. I'm like, sorry, So now I'm trying to take the approach, like, because I think about stuff a lot, and sometimes I really feel like I want to say something a lot. But now I have that little devil on my shoulder. I guess, the little angel on my shoulder probably is telling me, nope, just keep quiet, don't say anything. The little devil on the other side, go ahead, rip into him. Do it. They deserve it. The angel, don't listen to him. Just keep quiet. Just take a few deep breaths. Goose, frappa. And I'm like, all right. And so I kind of tend to listen to that little angel on the shoulder instead. And even with the wife and the kiddo back here, but especially in the chat with Allie and stuff, it's like, I'm not saying shit, because there's things where I'm like thinking, like, you left and you said you were gonna communicate with us, you're gonna reach out and message or whatever. It's not gonna be the same as before. I'm gonna talk to you. I'm like, okay. And my argument that I only get called or texted when she needs something, never, like, my youngest will be like, hey Dad, let's go out the bikes. hey, can you and me, Mom, do something this weekend? Like, hell, we're taking us to, because my wife, this is actually at the time of this recording, it's Saturday night into Sunday morning, so I'm almost on the last part of my 6th day of the week. So like, once I get this load back and then I get it back over to Kansas City, then I'm off for like my 24, technically 34, but it's like basically off for 24 hours before I'm getting ready to come back in again. But my wife, for the first time in like 2 months, is actually off on a day that I'm off. And so I was like, well, shit. Like, I was like, what movie do you guys want to see? Because we haven't been able to go to the movie theater in a while, and you know, usually it's been me and the kiddo doing something, or her in her room or downstairs, and I go out and take care of a few things, grab my drinks, grab some food, whatever, and then maybe we go out to dinner later that night or whatever. But I was like, what do you guys want to see a movie? Like, what do you want to see? Because I honestly don't care. Like, I'll go anytime, like movie theater. Like sometimes there's a movie that I'll be like, oh, I really want to see such and such. Most of the time, though, I'll go to a movie theater and I'll watch anything, because just love the experience of going to see a movie, especially when you gotta get the buttered popcorn with the orange popcorn salt. You just gotta. Like, I don't even need to get other snacks. Like, you know, I'll get the large buttered popcorn, you know, butter it up, salt it up, get like, especially if it's a theater that actually has a decent cherry Coke, I'll get cherry Coke, but otherwise I'll do like some sugar-free, like, icy or something off the little, the fountain drinks or whatever, you know. But pretty much the buttered popcorn, the wife will be getting, like, the kid will be like, we're getting candy, and we're gonna get like Twizzlers, and we're gonna get, you know, my youngest will be like, can we get a large bottle of water, blah blah blah, or get like those little mini pizzas or whatever. And I'm like, all right, that's fine, whatever. So for me, the movie doesn't matter. Like, the movie, you know, whatever movie we see, I'm gonna enjoy it probably, you know. Even though we've gone to some movies that I'm like, that movie kind of sucked, but yeah, it was still fun. You know, I still enjoyed the experience, you know, watching the movie, being in the theater, having the popcorn, whatever. I just thought the movie was horrible. I was like, that movie was crap. No wonder the theater was empty. But hey, it's all good, you know. It's like trying a restaurant, you know. And my wife and I went to a Mexican place that I thought I was taking her to a different Mexican restaurant. I guess I didn't go far enough down that street, and we went into this Mexican restaurant, and we ordered, and I was like looking around going, I don't think this is the one I was thinking. I think this is a different restaurant than what I was trying to take you to. And she goes, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, I think the other one is like further down the street, because I've been inside that one, and this one's different. And she's like, oh, okay. And the food was good. It was overly spicy, though. Like, I was having, she had a taco, one of those taco salads that had the big round, I almost said big round metal shell, but I was like, yeah, it's a taco salad, it's not a metal shell. But big round crispy shell, like a bowl, like a shell that looked like a bowl, but it had all the stuff, like the shrimp and the lettuce and whatever, in the tortilla crunchy shell bowl or whatever. And she said hers was pretty spicy, and I had enchiladas, and yet I had a lot of spice hitting me with those enchiladas. I'm like, I don't understand. I was like, never had a spiciness issue whenever I'm getting enchiladas. I was like, I might have a little bit of a kick, but not like, but this is like, woo, holy crap. And we finished our meals for the most part. I think I got to like the last half of the last enchilada, and I was like, I can't. I was like, the spices. It's just. I was like, my mouth's on fire. I'm done. I throw in the towel. My wife was like, yeah, I got like half my salad left, and I can't do it. Because it's good. It's just like, for whatever reason, it's over the spicy. I'm like, yeah. And then she and I had like bathroom issues for like the next like day or two. I was like, yeah, you know. So now she's kind of hesitant if I jokingly say, like, hey, let's go to get Mexican. She's like, no. I was like, we're not gonna go to that Mexican place. I was like, but lost my train of thought. You know how it is, you start rambling and stuff, you know. But But yeah, my youngest will be like, compared to what Allie does, my youngest will be like, hey Dad, can me and Mom do something? Can we go out to eat? Can we, go do, like, hell, one time in Nashville when my oldest had been gone for a while, my youngest basically said, hey Mom, Dad, can we go to this art thing where you do these crafts and we do it as a family? And we were like, sure, that sounds fun. I was like, I'm not an artist, but let's do it. You like clay or whatever, you can make different projects. Basically, I have a shot glass at home that I made, where you form it, turn it into the shape of the shot glass, whatever, and then they put it in the use like the watercolors or the paint or whatever it is that we decorated with, and then they put it in the oven to make it solid or whatever. It was a fun experience. Like, my youngest, literally, it's pretty common. She's like, hey Mom, Dad, can we do this? Can we go on the bikes? Can we do this? Whatever. It's like, okay. My oldest has never done that. I mean, not that I can remember. At least it's been years. She's basically down in her room doing what she wants to do on her computer, on video call with her boyfriend when she was here, and come up if she needs something. Hey Dad, can you give me a ride to the courthouse? I gotta drop such and such off for child support, as a record or whatever. I'm like, okay. Or hey Dad, can you help me with such and such? Or I gotta work tomorrow. Can you watch Bubba? And I'm like, sure. I'm off. Obviously, I'm gonna be here anyway. Sure, I'll hang out with him. I don't mind. But never. I don't remember the last time, if it has happened, but I don't remember if there was a time when she literally was like, hey Dad, how are you doing? Are you okay? Which most of the time, not gonna lie, I'm sure a lot of you can relate out there where it's like, you just go through the motions, you do what you gotta do, but we feel broken. So if somebody literally, they genuinely care and say, hey, are you okay? I've actually had, I think I had it might have been Rico actually, but I had a friend that basically, probably because of what I was like reposting on Instagram, what I might have been sharing, to my stories. You could probably like a cry for help kind of, but just kind of like that I was just just relating to these videos that, about like guys being alone or carrying the weight of the world, or not being appreciated, whatever. And so like I had these things I was posting, and I then had like a friend comment, it'll be okay. Like, they're like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm not. I was like, some days I'm better than others. I said, some days I'm really bad. But I said, most of the time I'm just trying to do my best. I'm just trying to take it day by day, and I'm working on the goals. That's why it's like part of why I do what I do with the show. I'm trying to work on making it the best that I can possibly make it, and working on like the books, and working on growing my YouTube channel, which is a slow and steady thing, but again, that's something you guys can find me on YouTube at ChristopherBlodgett if you're not connected with me already. I just crested, apparently my channel has had like 50, at the time I said 50,000 views. And I was like, cool, oh man. Rico's like, oh my god, bro. He's like, I don't think I'm anywhere near that. Like, you're really rocking it. Like, keep going. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna take me a while, because I'm pretty sure I need like a million views, or 4 million views to get to where I'm monetized. I was like, but hey, I can just keep putting videos out there and get like 500 views here, 1,000 views there. Eventually, eventually you get there. So it's like, I gotta do what I gotta do to basically, you gotta hold on to something. You gotta have hope that things are gonna get better. Because too many people will just basically, they'll go and work their job and come home and just basically be depressed and talk about how like things are just, that's just how life is. Things are not gonna be, like, this is just what life has in store for me. I'm just gonna be all, miserable, blah blah blah. If you don't go out and change it, then it's not gonna change. Like, like when I talk about like dreamers and action takers, like my wife would always talk about things like, like someday we'll get a house, someday we'll get a food truck, someday we'll be financially free. And I'm like, yeah, but you're not doing anything though. Like if you work a job and come home, but then you're not actually taking action steps to try to make it happen, then it's always going to be someday. My daughter, the one that just moved, moved, like, was all gung-ho about the fact that she and her boyfriend, we have our own place, yay. They're in their honeymoon period right now where it's just the two of them alone in the house, but doing what you probably could imagine they're probably doing. I'm not going to specifically say it because, we're live on the show, but, be alone with your guy in your new place. But probably within, I think, the next week or two, is when my grandkiddo's 6-week time at his dad / grandparents' house in Nashville comes up, and then instead of him coming home here, he's going home to Georgia. So next week or two, next couple of weeks, he'll be back home, and they'll go from being lovebirds alone in their house to, hey, guess what? We're parentals. And they won't have babysitters because that's what they had up here. Like all of us were watching the kiddo. We had me, my wife, my youngest. We had their grandma up here in Kansas City, aunts and uncles, whatever. Down there, she's got her boyfriend and his parents. So it's like I'm curious how things are gonna go. Because it's gonna be I think it's gonna be an eye-opening experience for her. To go from everything she had up here that I don't think she realized what she had up here. Because she was so quick to decide to move down there that's realize you're giving up a lot. You guys he gets to stay near his parents and you guys are going to get your own place. But you're going to realize very quick you're going to have to figure out childcare unless his parents are going to babysit for you, which I'm kind of hoping they don't just... I mean, I want them to, it'd be nice if they helped, but I don't want them to get roped in and, hey, can you guys babysit him again? Because I don't want her to take advantage of them, have them watch him and, not compensate or whatever. Because my youngest basically watched him a lot up here and didn't get really paid too much for it. Maybe made $50 a month for watching him 3 or 4 days a week. So it was a lot less than what she should have got paid technically, even though she sent pizza home and stuff. But but that's why I didn't fight her leaving, because I was I felt for a while I was kind of carrying everybody here, and now I'm still carrying the household in general, but I no longer have the oldest and the grandkiddo living with us. They're off independently, so it's all right, well, they can go hopefully live their life and succeed, and we'll turn those bedrooms into offices. I'll actually have a space that I can go and work on writing and record and whatnot, so I can get the books, hopefully move forward with those. But with the topic as far as silence is golden or whatever, it's I kind of, even though there's things that go through my head when I'm out here thinking of things that I want to say to Allie and stuff, especially because I know that haven't been hearing from her. I'm not gonna say anything in the chat when you left, you said you were gonna keep in touch, blah 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 blah. I'm not saying shit. I'm just you know what? I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna post any pictures. I'll respond if she says something. But when she was here with us, she was always downstairs, but always on video call with him. But now she's down there with him, and it's all right. Well, now that you're down there, can't you be in contact with us too? But as her parents, that we want her to want to talk to us though. We don't want her to talk to us just because we're pushing for it, pushing for time, pushing for attention. No, you know what? I'm not, no matter what they are, friend, family, whatever. I'm gonna beg anybody to be in my life. I've had friends that, friends that I was really close with. For instance, Dee and Joanne and whatnot, that got to a point where, well, Joanne and I had that falling out because of, you know, her being in what I suspect was an abusive relationship, and me trying to point it out, and her kind of going off of me and saying that I was like not a good person or whatever because I wouldn't do what she was doing for him. And I was like, no, I wouldn't. So we fell out. And D just kind of blowing me off. Literally not hearing from her for every 3 or 4 weeks, and then coming back saying that she was so busy, even though she didn't work a job or whatever. So it's like, I got, you know, it's like, I'm not gonna beg anybody to be in my life. You know, you don't want to be in my life? All right, fuck you. Have a nice life. You know, like, I'm not like, if you don't want to be here, that's fine. Have a nice life. Best of luck to you. I'm not gonna wish you ill or ill will or whatever. Like, I wish you the best. I hope you get where you, I hope you get everything that you're after or whatever, and I hope you succeed at, you know, what you want. But like my friend Kirsten, which, you know, I put out there in a couple episodes just in case she's listening. Like, I would not complain at all about reconnecting with her to see how she's doing. Hopefully she's okay. And I was friends with her for like 10 years. But with her, it's like I was being asked for advice and support. Like, you know, I appreciate you being there for me. Like, I value, you know, like, that you're there as a shoulder to cry on, blah, blah, blah. But then, like, she would still go and do the things that you'd advise, like, that's a bad idea. Like that person right there is going to hurt you, or that's dangerous. She would still do it. So I backed away. I was like, look, I can't keep doing this. Like, you keep asking, or you keep wanting me to talk you out of stuff, but then you go and do it anyway. It's like, I'm not, like, this is like, I left, I backed away and said, I can't do this anymore. I wish you well, and, you know, if, you know, I'd love to reconnect someday, but right now it's like, I need to let you go. Like, go do what you're gonna do anyway, and, you know, I hope it works. Because sometimes if you're giving so much to people, like, you're giving so much of yourself, you're bending over backwards, you're giving, you know, the hug and the shoulder to cry on, and you're giving them advice, you know, because you see the path they're going down and you're trying to help them. But they still keep doing what you're, like Joanne and Kirsten, both same deal, you know. Get back, like, with Joanne getting back into, you know, this relationship with this guy that then, you know, from what I could tell, was controlling and abusive. Like, he didn't like her having guy friends, and so talking to me, which we talked every day, except for I could always tell when she was back with him, because all of a sudden I was hearing, like, she and I were talking for a couple weeks, or like a month or two, and it was like, after a couple cycles, I realized, are you back with that guy again? Yeah, okay. And how's it going? Like, everything working out? Yeah, everything's fine. She joked around about, like, the fact that the last time he left, I guess he got all, like, he really had made, like, a mess with, like, all the plates and the dishes. Like, they were, like, caked with stuff. And to the point where, like, she just threw them away. And then bought new dishes because she didn't want to deal with the massive mess. And I was like, oh, wow, that's interesting. So then, like, she kicked him back out again, and then we were literally, I can tell when he's gone, because all of a sudden we're chatting every day again, like, voice clipping, video calling on my day off, whatever. And then we got to where we weren't talking again for a couple weeks, and I messaged her again, like, hey, are you back with so-and-so? Like, she let him move back in again. She's like, yeah, I'm back with him again. And that's when we had the falling out. I basically joked around. I said, like, oh, okay. I was like, well, you're going to have to replace, you know, like, throw away your dishes again. Just kidding. That's when I got I guess it pissed her off, even though I was kidding. But I was just trying to, like, lighten the mood a little bit. She basically came back, like, you know, I will not apologize for being a good person, for trying to help somebody, and apparently you're not, because you won't do what I'm doing. I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. You're saying because I will not take an abusive motherfucker back into the same house multiple times after kicking his ass out. In my case, her ass, you know, but I was putting myself in her shoes. Like, so you're saying that because I wouldn't do what you're doing and keep bringing this guy back, who then basically controls you. I don't think he beat her, but I think he was basically just manipulative and controlling, whatever. And then kicking him out again, and then bringing him back. No, you're right. I would not do what you're doing, because I think you're being a dumbass by doing that. I think you should kick him to the curb. You should let him fend for himself. Stop trying to help him. But basically, it was like, but you can fuck you, because like, obviously, like, if we ever talk again, you're gonna fucking apologize, because what you just said to me was fucking bullshit. And then I walked away, and the funny thing was, she was still connected on Facebook. Like, even though I didn't block her, but I deleted her off Facebook. Apparently, she was still connected to my wife, and she, for whatever reason, I don't know what was going through her head, because she must have still thought that she was a friend of the family, because she could still talk to the rest of the fam. And so she commented on my wife's post, like, "Oh, that's really awesome, sweetie, blah, blah, blah." And I messaged my wife, and I was like, I don't normally ask this. Like, normally I don't care. Like, if I'm not connected to somebody, you're still connected, then fine, whatever. I said, but with her, I said, can you please block her? I was like, because she's quote unquote a family friend, but not anymore, because we had this falling out. Like, I was like, she doesn't get, like, if she doesn't want to repair things with me, since she and I were the main ones talking, I said, she doesn't get the rest of the fam either. Like, she doesn't get all of us. It's either all or nothing. My wife said, yeah, absolutely, she's blocked. Like, oh, that was cool, thank you. Because she's like, I'm with you. Like, obviously, like, yeah, I'm not going to be connected with her, after what she said to you or whatever. And I was like, yeah. I was like, she's welcome to reach out to me, and we can reconnect. Bury the hatchet, let bygones be bygones, and try to repair stuff. But I haven't heard from her either, like, she's not blocked. I don't think I have her blocked. So she could always reach out too and try to, like, hey, I'm sorry, I fucked up. Just like Kirsten could reach out and try to repair things. D, she can kind of fuck off. Because with her, I don't understand her. It was like, I'm so busy. Oh man, so busy. I'm so sorry, I just can't talk. I know it's been a couple weeks since we last talked, but I'm just so busy. I'm like, you literally don't work. You're literally home all day on TikTok doing tarot readings for $5, because I was getting the videos. I was seeing those pop up on my TikTok, when TikTok alerts you, so-and-so posted a video. I was like, or you're talking about, like, I'm home all day watching TV with my kid. I'm like, you're not busy. Like, you don't want to work a job because you have too much anxiety. You don't know what anxiety is, because, I'm not going to go there. But if you don't work and you're just home chilling out, smoking weed, and you're telling me that you got too much anxiety to do anything, and I'm like, come out here and do what I'm doing. Like, truckers out here, we deal with again, there's bad drivers in trucks too, but a lot of the accidents that I see, they're really big accidents, were usually caused by cars doing something stupid, and the truck just happened to somehow get involved. So I'm like, drivers out here, you guys know what I'm talking about when I say, like, we have anxiety. Like, we get to deal with some shit out here. Thankfully, at night, driving nights for me, it's like there's not as long. I prefer, like, I never thought I would like nights as well as I would rather be asleep, obviously, but when I started driving overnight, you definitely notice a difference compared to, like, then you switch from nights to days, and I would come in at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'd run from 9 a.m. and I'd get back home at like 10 p.m. I got stuck in lots of traffic in Tennessee or whatever, where you're only doing like 250, 300 mile trip, but this still takes 10 hours because you're getting stuck in, like, rush hour or whatever, and it's like, yeah, this sucks. I'm too tired for this shit. But yeah, we got anxiety, so I don't know if I would talk to Dee again, wish her the best, don't wish her any ill will, but hopefully she's still enjoying herself sitting at home complaining about life, because with her it was super negative. It was always, this sucks, that sucks, everything sucks, nothing's ever gonna get better. And I would always, because I'm, when I say, like, you gotta hold on to, like, hope. You gotta have hope for something, And so with everything that you know, that I'm dealing with out here, all the stuff I'm trying to do, it's like I'm literally like that's how I keep going. I do the podcast, try to keep this going, try to work on growing it, eventually monetizing it, working on like the YouTube channel to eventually monetize that. Probably gonna do more than one channel, you know. Working on like a e-commerce store, which that right there had a little development in that recently that it's kind of inspired me to actually go ahead and start trying to like work on that a little bit more, because I don't know if any of you have actually heard about these, but there's some of these companies out there that you see like videos for, like, we build you a free Shopify store with high demand products, and we connect you with a dropshipper seller that, you know, set up auto fulfillment, blah blah blah. Yeah, they're great if you can find one that actually like legit works, whatever. I had done Shopify stores before, but I then would cancel after a while because, of course, like, you're trying to drive traffic to your store, and like I never got any sales. Or you're trying to do a store but you don't have products, or you have like a list of products, but it's like putting them in there manually yourself, building your store from scratch really sucks. Like, I can do web stuff, but I'm not the greatest at it, you know, as far as like building a website or whatever. I know a little bit of HTML, a little coding, whatever, but not anything where I can be like, I'm efficient at it. Nope, I'm not. But so when you find out, you got these companies that literally, like, you know, they'll build it for you. Like, you literally get this little link to click. Your store is completed. Oh, cool. All right. And it literally, like, you click the link, you log into your thing, and it uploads it, creates it in your profile. So you have a store on your actual Shopify account that's already built as the images, the site looks good. So I did one about a month back. And I was like, all right, you know. So I did like a high ticket, like, well, one that had like some cheap stuff, but it had like high ticket, like furniture stuff. So it's like home goods, whatever. Because I want to have some items in my store that I can make good money on, and then others that I might make a little bit, you know, because they're cheaper. But my main thing was not having to go on there and fulfill it. So, because I was with a company called Salvia that basically, you know, they build a store for you, but then like every order you get, you had to go and pay out of pocket to process it. Like, all your earnings are going into your back office and your Salvia account, and you're supposed to be able to withdraw anything over $100 once you get your balance over $100. But they just kept growing, and they would be like, oh no, well, you can't withdraw it because like you have this much is pending, and you got to process these orders. And I'm like, yeah, but I made $600. You know, that doesn't make sense. You know, and I had paid $450 out of a $900 upgrade fee to try to upgrade my store, but I had basically told them, I was like, look, like, I've made $600. I should basically have gotten a couple of, or I should have gotten a withdrawal. I should have been able to get paid. But, you know, oh yeah, well, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And so finally I went online and I basically just like went onto my bank and I disputed every single charge, all the orders I had paid out of pocket to process, and I disputed the $450 I paid. And like, they came back and fought with me, like, how can you do this? Like, we thought we had an arrangement. We were gonna do such and such for you. And I was like, yeah, but you haven't. And I'm not gonna keep sitting another couple weeks wondering if, like, you know, am I gonna get paid? Because like, it was ridiculous. Like, the charges they were charging me too was like a $26 item. It said like to process it was like $15. And okay, that's still $11 profit. Okay, I can live with that. You know, do enough orders of that, you'll make, you know, let's say you do like 10 orders of that, yeah, you'll pay $150, but then you'll actually make that back plus $100, so you make $100 profit. But I would pay the $15, and they would charge another fee. It was like $7 on top of that, so it would pay $22 for $26 item. I'm like, so you're telling me a $26 item I'm only making $4 on, because you're basically, you know, like, like, doesn't make sense, especially because like, if they're at the cost for the company is like wholesale price, they're definitely making money on that product, and they're making more money because they're charging me fees. So I was looking at all that, going, yeah, I can't do this. Like, this doesn't make sense. The numbers aren't working for me right now. Like a $10 item, I'd pay $5 for the processing, and then they would still charge me $3 fee. So on that $10 item, my profit was like $2. And I was like, yeah, this sucks. This doesn't make sense. I kept saying I want a refund. I want you to cancel I want you to downgrade me back to the regular store. And then they were like, well, why'd you dispute the charges? I'm like, because you're not listening to me. Like, I'm saying I want to cancel, I want a refund, and you're trying to make this. Well, why don't we do this? No, I'm not interested in that. I either want to get paid or I want my money back. You know, and they flat out cancel my store altogether. Like, it just closed down. They're like, your store's been closed. I'm like, huh, okay. Well, I hope I get paid for all the items I processed. And I started getting these refunds back from Salvia for the amount I paid. I'm like, technically, I should have gotten paid the full amount that I was supposed to make on those items, but they kept the extra profit for them. So it's like, yeah, all right, you know. So the customer paid $26, and then, like, you know, they were getting their wholesale price plus whatever, and I wasn't getting shit. I'm like, no. So I got this. Company that was setting up a Shopify store for me. And you know, it was like 20 items, and you know, it was gonna be connected to a drop shipper and have auto fulfillment and stuff. There was like a little code, an app that connected it with or whatever. All right, well, as long as it, like, if I could have a store that'll process the orders automatically, you know, and have the company ship them out, and I'm not having to pay out the nose for these items. I've done drop shipping before. I know how it works. So it's like, usually you make a decent amount on you might make 50%, but that's still better than what Selby was trying to do. They were literally ripping people off. So it's like, if you get a $10 or $20 purchase, usually your wholesale might be like $7.50, $8, $9, $10, something, but you're still making $10 profit on the item. That's not bad. That's not bad at all, you know. Or like a $1,000 item, it might be like, you know, it might be like $600, but then you're making $400 profit on that item, or it might be $500 and you're making $500. So it's like, usually the margins are pretty good, because wholesale is usually a lot less than what the actual retail on the item. So I'm cool with that, you know. I just don't want to process them myself every order. And so I had this store, and I've done some things like when I'm trying to grow the podcast and stuff, and there's sites out there where you can actually list your websites on these platforms, and it'll upload it, or it'll list them with all the search engines and stuff. Try to say that 10 times fast. So I did that with the podcasts, with, you know, listing the new website, you know, the BlodgettShowPodcast.com, and then I said, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna list that one store I have that I have literally not done anything with. It's just been active, haven't done any sales, but the website is active and whatnot. I was like, because I was curious if I got an order, would it process and go through? Like, would the payment go through? Would they fulfill it? The item get shipped out? Because I thought that's going to be the real test right there to see if I keep that store. So I thought, you know what, screw it, I'm going to list that shop link in one of these new platforms I signed up with the other day. Like, literally within the past 48 hours, listed that website link. You know, it was like beyond setbacks at myshopify.com or something. Which, if you go there now, literally I've locked it up. Like, I've shut down my subscription. I locked the store since the store won't close until the end of my billing period. So I was like, well, how do I keep people from placing an order? Like, oh, you put a password so that way they won't be able to access your store. I'm like, okay. And then I put a message saying store closed. The reason why I did that, because literally Friday night, Saturday morning. It was literally like I was maybe a half an hour outside of Lenexa, and I got an email, and I got the email from Shopify, and I got the alert from the Shopify app. You got a new order. Really? Okay. Well, I guess listing it online to have it, listed on a lot of these different sites. I guess I became visible, and somebody found my store, and they bought some. It was a cheap item. It was like $3.99. It was like $4 for like a little light or something, like a little lamp, one of those the small little circle lamps. I think it's one of the touch button ones that you can stick them somewhere and you push the little button to like light them up. So I was like, all right, cool. But then so I'm like, oh, awesome. I'll have to look at that and see what that's all about when I get to Linux. I can't really look right now. But then before I get to Linux, I see another alert: fulfillment declined. Huh? What the hell do you mean fulfillment declined? Like, why? So like, now I really have to check it out when I get to Linux. So I get there and I'm looking into it and stuff. And of course, it's like, yeah, fulfillment declined, blah blah blah. But I'm able to request fulfillment manually. So I went ahead and requested it manually. So it said, from processing order, fulfillment requested, blah blah blah. Okay. I was like, let's see what happens. Like maybe if it'll go through and we're good. But then like literally like 5 minutes later, another message, like it went back, fulfillment declined, had an error or whatever. I'm like, I looked at the item, I brought up the inventory on the item, and, because when they loaded the store, I guess it's connected and it shows like how many are available. It says there's nine of that product available. So I'm going, why is it declining? I don't have any contact for whatever company I was connected with to do the supplier. So I was like, all right, well, that's a red flag for me. So I have another store that I was thinking about doing that seems a lot more legit, a lot more official, and they actually like you can come up with your company logo and a name, and they help you do all that. So I'm like, okay, I was like, now that I know that technically I've made a sale on Shopify, I know how to get myself out there. I went on there and I canceled that order and I refunded the customer their $4 or whatever it was. And then I went through the steps to go ahead and shut the store down, because I don't want to have any more orders come through, especially if I can't get the orders to go through. If I can't fulfill them, then basically people are just going to complain because I'll be getting their money and they won't be getting their stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I want to be a legit store, So that's one of the things, moving forward. It's like, I see that it's possible now. So it's like, hey, I made a sale. Awesome. That's the first sale I've ever made on Shopify. And it wasn't even that much, $4, but it was progress. It was, it was something happened, made money, technically did a sale, even though I had to refund the sale. But now I know, okay, well, apparently what I did before worked, because I got in front of, somehow somebody found my store, they made an order, so I'm like, okay. So now I don't feel too bad about, shutting down that store, because now I know, okay, I just have to find something better, and then I know how to get the website out there for people to find it and stuff. So you always got to be, so I guess to kind of close this out a little bit, it's been going for a minute, we always got, like, don't just accept where you're at, especially if you're not happy, if like you're overworked, if you're stressed. In Dee's case, just complaining about this sucks, that sucks, everything sucks. Nothing's ever gonna get better. I'm like, yeah, nothing's gonna get better if you don't go out there and make it better. In life, unfortunately, good things don't just fall into your lap. Like sometimes you get blessed. Sometimes things like things will just happen and be, oh my god, I can't believe like I won the jackpot, or so and so gave me a couple $1,000 out of the blue. But most of the time, unless you're actively working towards it, then you'll just keep staying where you're at and saying, someday this is gonna happen. Someday we'll have our house. Someday we'll get our business off the ground. Someday we'll be traveling all the time. It's like, yeah, but then what? 20 years from now, you're still working the same job, saying someday. Like, no, someday is never, unless you're actually working towards it, trying to make something happen, like literally trying to manifest what you want. Like you gotta go out there and you gotta work. You gotta you gotta make your mind up. You gotta set your mind on what you want. Set your mind on the goal that you want to achieve. On the thing that you're trying to accomplish in life. And then don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it. Like, don't let anybody tell you you can't have what you want, because I have accomplished some things over the past 5 years that honestly I didn't know how I was gonna do it. Like when I got my Ram, you know, I'd been telling myself for years, I really want a pickup truck, like a crew cab truck, but every place I talk to, they want like 10 grand in down payment, blah blah blah. I'm like, I'm not gonna have 10 grand. What the fuck? And then stuff happened, and I happen to have, you know, like a 5 grand that I was able to use as down payment, and I was able to get my truck. And then coming up here, you know, for a while, we were wanting to move out of the apartment in Nashville, but moving somewhere in Tennessee was going to be like, we didn't think we were going to be able to get a house down there, because housing costs are fucking ridiculous. Even though I would have loved to stay in Nashville or stay in Tennessee or whatever. But we talked about maybe coming up here to be close to the Kansas City fam or whatever. But for like 2 years while we're talking about it, I'm researching, and I'm looking up options, and I'm looking up houses up here and looking up rentals and just researching and trying to find stuff. Just trying to see what I could find. I couldn't find anything that really jumped out at me until I had that back payment from the VA, and I then stumbled upon the lease, like the property manager / landlord for the houses up here where we live, and I was like, that's half an hour outside of Kansas City. And everything felt, I made it happen. I was able to get the finances in order, to be able to take care of the move and to cover us out here. And then, got out of that, because I got my Ram was under a title loan, because it was paid off. And I had to take a title loan on it to basically help with getting us out here. Because it was like, I didn't want to. I love that truck, and I didn't want to put it under a loan again. But without that 8 grand that they were offering me for the truck, I was like, yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna get us out of Tennessee, because money-wise, like when things are really tight, we just, we'd already paid the movers a lot for, of what I had at the time. So the 8 grand kind of helped with getting us up here and, taking care of stuff. So it's like that plus other loans and the rent center and all that stuff, But got out of the title loan on that Ram, got myself into a regular finance, like with the Silverado I have. So it's like, first truck was really difficult to get into. It was really difficult to get the down payment, the money for the down payment. But then getting into my current truck, literally did the trade-in and didn't do any down, like didn't have any money down, just literally traded the truck over. Was able to literally do a swap, trade in, get into a different truck that's same year, a little higher mileage, but an actual bank finance versus a title loan. Just happened. So it's like things fall into place. It's just it might take a couple years to try to figure something out. Whatever it is you're trying to work on, especially if you don't have a lot of money to work with. You just have to do what you can. Knock out this bill. Make this payment over here, make this payment over there, put this much in savings, even if it's like $50 a week or whatever. And constantly just making moves, and not letting, because I've had so many people with the things I do online. I've had so many people, family members, whatever, that literally will just tell me everything I do is a scam. Like give up, you shouldn't do the podcast, like these online businesses you try to do, they're all scams. I'm like, no, they're not. Like, some of them are. I was like, but a lot of them aren't. Like, but a lot of them are like network marketing, MLM type stuff. And where you gotta have a following, you gotta be able to build a team, and it's like, I've never really been able to build a team. So it's like you gotta kind of, not listen to those that are telling you that it can't be done. And that's because they can't do it. Like they're unwilling to try. Because they don't think it's possible, so they tell other people it's a scam. Like this is all scam. Like it's all bullshit. No, it's not. You just don't want to. You just don't want to give it a shot. Or you don't. Or when people tell you that, like family or whatever, like that's because they don't believe not only in the opportunity, but they don't believe in you either. Like they think that all you're doing is trying to find a get rich quick. And I know I'm legit trying to find a way to not have to work as hard as I'm working right now, to basically be home, have the time freedom, the financial freedom. I was telling somebody in one of my videos on YouTube, I was like, I don't necessarily need to be rich. I said, but I want to have enough money coming in through the like the podcast, the monetization, like the revenue, and then the YouTube, and whatever else I'm doing, the books or whatever. I said, I just want to have enough money that I basically am just comfortable. I can do what I want. We can travel, we can whatever, but I don't have to have millions. Would I complain if I had millions or more? Hell no. But that's not my goal. My goal is like a certain amount per month that would actually, if anything, it would still grow because we probably won't be spending all that, But have the bills, like the mortgage and all the other debts and whatever, be on autopilot. Be on auto pay or whatever, so we could, things could just keep getting paid. Always fun when a car passes me, gets over, and then doesn't speed up. It's like, dude, like, come on now, go faster. But you gotta have hope, guys. Like, just like no matter what you believe in, no matter what you're working towards, keep the faith, keep the hope, keep trying. No matter how many times you fall and quote unquote fail, get back up, go after it again. I can't tell you the number of times, especially lately, where especially when I'm tired, it's worse. Like when I work all night, by the time I get back to Lenexa, usually I'm like, there's been a couple of nights this week that I'm like, I might put on music to try to lift myself up because I get back to Lenexa and I'm so tired, and that just drags me down even more, where I'm thinking about stuff like Allie not really communicating with us, and me wanting to be like, you know what, I'm just gonna keep quiet. Like I don't want to react because of how I feel. Like I don't want to jump in the chat, basically complain. Like, look, like when you left, you said you're gonna, it wasn't gonna be like last time. You're gonna talk to us. I'm like, if she wants to talk to us, she'll talk to us. If she doesn't, she won't. She'll probably, like I said, message me when she needs something or she's in trouble. I think she's talking to my wife. I think she's heard from her a little bit, but I'm like, well, I'm not gonna message her. I'm gonna let her live her life down there and do what she has to do, and hopefully everything works out. So instead of reacting to how I feel when I'm overwhelmed a lot of days because of the exhaustion, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut, because I've gotten into fights with my youngest because I said something. I was right to say something, but it started a huge fight, and it was like, yeah, I was like, I'll just, instead of saying something over text, that's why I might go into her room or in the game room, wherever she's at. Might be like, hey, bug, blah, 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 and we'll talk about it. And things, we could talk about things when we're hanging out in person a lot easier than when we're text, because we can get misconstrued. But otherwise, with, like, my oldest, I'm like, I'm going to keep quiet. Like, she can reach out to me if she needs me, but otherwise, I'll just be over here doing what I got to do and working towards what I'm working towards, going to achieve the things I'm after and stuff, and eventually, within the next 5 to 10 years, me and my wife, basically, I'll be retired fully, like, have the financial freedom and time freedom, and probably have my wife set up with her business, and my oldest hopefully will have found what she's looking for down there. Because we're like, you're like 900 miles away, like, we can't just come down there and rescue you if something happens. Like, we just want you to remember that. She's like, I know, it'll be fine. Okay. Like, obviously, if you need anything, let us know, and if we can't do it, we'll figure out how we can pull it off. Like, if we don't have what you need, we'll figure out how we can get it or whatever. But just be safe, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, take care of your house. My advice to them is basically like, take care of your house and stay in good graces with your landlord, because you can be kicked out if your house is like smelling really bad, if it's really like junked up or whatever. So I'm hoping but they keep on top of that because I don't want. We got evicted. Oh shit. Well, move in with his parents because you're 900 miles from us. We can't do shit. I was like, I'll come down. I'll go down there and help her move, but I ain't gonna be offering that first thing. I'd be like, well, like you're closer to his folks. Why don't you guys move back in with his folks? You know, like be a lot different story there. Like living with his parents instead of living with us. She might actually realize, like, man, things are so much better with my parents. Cause, yeah, because we were there for both of you. But hey, you know. So, in closing, guys, do what you gotta do. Keep pushing forward. Keep trying. Don't. One of the acronyms for fail that I like to talk about all the time is first attempt in learning. And it's not even a fail if we continue to get back up and try again. You know, just keep getting back up. Brush yourself off. Put an ice pack on it. Keep going. Get knocked down again. Get back up. There's times where I'm like, I literally get home and I'm so exhausted. Exhausted isn't even the right word some days. There's some days I'm so exhausted that I want to just lay down in the driveway and probably break down crying before I go to sleep right there. Because you're that tired that it hurts. That your whole body hurts, that you got a headache, your neck is stiff. I'm like, man, I better make sure I have life insurance all set up because I feel like maybe the stress is gonna like make me have a heart attack and I don't want to die early. But that's also another reason why I'm trying to do what I'm doing, because I don't think I have 20 or 30 years left in me to do what I'm doing. You know, because I'm pretty sure the stress from what I do with the anxiety and tension out here would just be enough to literally run me into the ground. So it's like I have to hold on to that hope that life will get easier, that I'll accomplish the things I'm after. So the little things like the podcast, which I don't know if I mentioned earlier in this episode, but randomly the other day, like yesterday morning, I was checking. I'd seen that the number of downloads had gone up, like from like I think it was like 1621, 1,621 lifetime downloads, and then it had gone up like 30. It was like 1650, 1651, something like that. And then I was looking, and it said like, I thought it said 1660. I was like, okay, cool, went up another 10. But then I looked and was like, wait, that says 1760. I was like, 100. That's okay. So I took a screenshot when it was at like 1621. And so that way I would keep a record. So I would be like, I'm pretty sure it was at this. That's why I took a screenshot to kind of like keep tabs. So I looked at the screenshot, like, oh yeah, it's up like 130 downloads. And then a couple hours later, I looked again, and it was like 1,800 something. I was like, oh shit, 200 whatever. Now, when I looked last night before I got to St. Louis, I looked, it was like 1951 or whatever. I'm like, I'm up 300 freaking downloads in the past couple days. I was like, I need to average 500 downloads per week to be considered big enough of a show to get on Red Circle's advertising platform, start basically bringing in revenue with that. I'm like, I might be on the right path with all the things I've done with the new site, you know, getting myself published on a lot of different search engines and stuff, you know, listed on Google so people can find me, whatever. And so I'm just actively taking steps. The fact of seeing those downloads, I'm like, keep coming. I don't want to stop. If it keeps going like that, then like literally the show will be monetized pretty soon, hopefully. But don't worry, guys. Those of you that don't like hearing ads and whatever, I will, you know, once there's ads on the show, I'll probably set up the little special, what is it they call, like, where you can set it up where like people can pay like a small membership fee or something, but have like access to special content. So I would have like the stuff that doesn't have advertisements in it, so you guys could just get the basic episodes without ads. I'll do that for you guys, don't worry. You know, I have lots of plans for the show, and it's like just a matter of like having the time or the money or whatever to do it. Just like there's probably going to be some like the online store that I'm looking at doing is probably going to be, I don't know if it's going to be called Blodgett Show, whatever, or if it just be called Blodgett, because it's like could be like a coffee site or a coffee store that also will have, I think, hoodies and coffee mugs as well. And so I'm thinking about having that be the official Blodgett Show type merch that you get, like coffee and hoodies and coffee mugs or whatever, you know. But so that's what's probably going to be the actual like Shopify store I'm going to be doing, because it, you know, sounds a lot more legit, a lot more official, and it's like, you know, they help you get everything set up with like your company logo and all that stuff that'll go on your products and on your stuff. So the fact that those downloads are happening right now, I'm going to keep an eye on those, and hopefully they keep up like every day, seeing like, oh wow, like that's why I haven't looked since like I think 11 p.m. last night. So I'm like, I'm probably gonna check when I get to like Linux and be like, hey, let's see where it's at. If I'm over 2,000, be like, damn, I'm really like, it just, you know, downloads are just flying through. You know, like apparently I'm connected with a lot of people, whatever. And that's awesome. I want to grow the show. I want this show to be a success. You know, my main goal, time frame wise, is basically to when I started the show, my goal was starting a podcast was not just because, hey, I want to start a podcast. It's because I was heard like, hey, like people, some of these podcasters that are really big now, they started really small, and then eventually that's, you know, within a couple years, they were like, hey, like I quit my job, I'm a full-time podcaster, I just do this full-time, I record multiple episodes per week to schedule for weeks or whatever on end, and I'm like, I could do that if I have the time, but I haven't gotten there yet. You know, I'll actively trying to figure out how to, like, what I should do, and trying not to like have to like pay out the nose for a company to help me or partner with somebody. I had one guy that you know, he's on the back burner, but he'd offered to help grow the show, and basically he was like, I won't charge you anything up front, and all you have to do is, you know, your only thing would be do the episodes and get them posted every week, like you know, like you're supposed, like you want, you know, get them on like you already do. Just make sure you're posting them on schedule. I'm like, okay. And he goes, and I'll do my thing, and then whenever the show gets to where it's got revenue coming in, we split it 50-50. And I'm like, why, permanently? He's like, yes. I'm like, I was like, I mean, I can understand partnering for a set time frame, but I was like, I don't know about a permanent 50-50 partnership, because like, even though he'd be helping me grow the downloads and, you know, get in front of more people, I'm still the main producer of the business. You know, like I'd still be the one recording and editing and posting the episodes, and he's basically doing the social, like the networking, whatever. So he's on the back burners. I was like, well, I'm willing to do that route, but I figured everything I've done recently, it's kind of been me trying to, and I told Rico, I was like, I'm trying to see what I can do if I can figure things out myself without having to lose any revenue, like, you know, split half the business with him. And he was, yeah, I understand that. He goes, but still not a bad deal. Like, if he's not charging anything up front, and, you know, you can set a time frame like a year. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what I plan to do. Like, if I work with him, I'm going to do a contract and say we'll do it for 12 months and we'll see where we are, and have it be like an at-will contract. Like, either party can terminate for any reason at any time or whatever. That way I'm covering myself. I'm not just giving up half the business. I don't want to give up half the business, you know. But the fact that I'm seeing the downloads, you know, and he was like, yeah, oh, that's awesome, bro. You might not have to partner with that guy after all. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what I'm hoping. You know, because I'm trying to do it myself. I'm trying to actually accomplish this without, you know, paying $500 for a month of a campaign to get some advertising going on, or partnering with this guy to give up half the business or whatever. Like, yeah, there's got to be a way to do it. So that's why I'm saying, guys, you know, there's you can, even if it takes you years to figure out, you can figure it out. You might have to research the hell out of whatever you're trying to do. Like, take notes, write down things you're finding out. If you're talking to other creators or other people that have done what you're trying to do, ask them, hey, what'd you do? Like, how do we, like, how did you do such and such? Like, I see that you did this with your business. I'm trying to figure that out. How'd you get it done? And so other people might tell you, oh, you just do such and such, or oh, I just kept working at it until it happened. Okay, so you just gotta keep at it, keep pushing for your dreams or whatever. So in closing, my usual statements I always make: keep pushing forward, keep believing, believe you can, believe you will, and you're already halfway there. And then you just have to go out there and make it happen. Don't let anybody tell you can't do it. And if you have people in your life, family or friends, that basically talk to you like that, tell you what you're trying to do is all scams, or you should, like my parents, my dad used to tell me, you should just go work at McDonald's, go work a regular job, start at the ground floor, work your way up to management, and then retire. And I'm like, Dad, that sounds depressing. Like, I don't want to, because I don't want to work full time until I'm 65. I want to be free as close to right now as possible, when I'm still somewhat young, and my kids aren't that old, my grandkids are pretty young, and I still got my parents around, I still got, I got friends that I want to go see, whatever, family up in the East Coast that technically I can go visit. I don't know, it's like, I have like cousins up there, and they're in Connecticut, and technically some that are in PA that, I don't know, if I'm up there, I might randomly stop in and be like, hey, we're in the state, like, like my cousin Mary, whatever. I don't know, I might visit them. I don't know. It's one of those, like, we haven't had anything to do with each other for a while. Like, they don't really message to talk to me, whatever. So I might just come up there and visit, like, my mom, or my wife's birth mother up there. So technically my mother-in-law and my grandmother-in-law. And, the father-in-law up there, see a couple friends that live up that way and stuff, but I don't know. It's like, it's the thing, like, where I'm talking with family and friends, like, I'm part of why I'm doing what I'm doing with my oldest, and I'd take this approach up there if I go to Philly, is I believe in giving effort to those that give effort to you. Like, if you're putting effort into somebody and they're not reciprocating, like, trying to help you out too, or trying to, basically, like, if you're trying to work on everybody's goals yourself and everybody else around the house, basically just, someday, or, buying a bunch of stuff and then complaining about being broke. It's like, well, you gotta make it happen. You gotta be taking action. So I would probably, up in Philly, honestly, I'd probably not even reach out to the cousins that are up there. They're in I think they're in Reading. They complained when I hadn't even been up there in a couple years, probably about 4 years when we lived in Nashville. It's like, you stopped coming up to see us. I'm like, we came up there, like, to see you guys like 3 times before my aunt and uncle died. Like, you guys have never come down to see us. Like, it's kind of a give and take. Like, if you guys aren't going to come down to see us ever, like, after a couple visits to come up and visit you, it's like kind of one-sided here a little bit. It's like with my oldest, it's like, I don't want to be the one messaging her to try to get her to talk. Like, she'll respond to us if we message, but I'm not getting a, hey Dad, how you doing? I told her when she left, I said, you know what hours I work? Do you know what days I work? I'm out here Monday through Saturday from like 5 p.m. until 7 a.m. the next morning. Usually by 7 a.m. I'm getting home. So, like, you can call if you're up late and you need to talk to somebody. Like, I'm here. Like, hell, my youngest is messaged, but she's still awake at like 3 in the morning sometimes. She'll message like, so I got Nala in bed with me, whatever. And I'm like, oh, I'm surprised she's still awake. She goes, yeah. I'm about to try to go to sleep now, but love you, Dad. I'm like, love you too, kiddo. And I'm like, little stuff like that. Like, it doesn't take much. You don't have to freaking like do anything for me, whatever, buy anything for me, like pay for a meal, because I can get my own stuff, I can pay for my own food, whatever, but showing that you care, showing that you actually want to have a relationship with me, checking up on me, hey, how you doing? Thought I'd check up on you. I have a friend named Bia, actually, on Messenger that we don't talk too often, but you know, every so often I do ask. I'll just randomly, like every couple days, like once a week or something. Cause she's busy as hell too. She does rideshare stuff, so like Uber and Lyft. So, like usually once, maybe like it might be like every 2 weeks. I might message a couple days, go, hey, Bia, thought I'd reach out, check in, see how you're doing. Hope you're doing good. And she'd be like, hey, I actually was thinking about it yesterday. I thought I should talk to Chris. I should message Chris, see how he's doing. Little stuff like that. We just think about each other. Like, hey, how you doing? You doing good? I'm like, yeah, I'm still out here doing what I'm doing. She goes, yeah, I know. I was like, how's it going with you? Still doing Uber? She said, yeah, you know, it's frustrating. It's, man, I'm so busy. I'm like, oh, I bet, because I've done Uber and Lyft before. I know exactly what you're talking about. And then, you know, same thing with me and Rico. Like, we chat every day, and sometimes I can be like, hey, bro, you okay? You sound kind of down. He goes, I'm just having a rough day. I'm like, okay. Well, let me know if you need anything. I'm here. Or it might be like his birthday or something, you know. And so he might be depressed because of that. And I'm like, I'll be like, hey, bro, check your Venmo. Because I might have sent him like $100. He's like, you didn't have to do that, man. I was like, no, I know. I was like, but go get yourself some, go get some food or go get a drink or something or order yourself something. I was like, I know it's not much. No, man, it's $100. That's way too much, man. I was like, no. He's like, I can send it back to you. No. He's like, bro, go do something for yourself. Like, go out somewhere with a steak or something, you know. Like, go treat yourself. He goes, this is why you're like, you and I, man, we're not just friends. Like, you're like family. And I'm like, I think of you the same way. You're like a brother. You know, because we talk every day. And, like, I know you've sent me money randomly, you know, to help me out, which we'd be like, hey, any chance you have 50 for me to borrow for a couple days when I get paid? I'll send it back. Yeah. Hell, I think I loaned him. I think I loaned him money, or he loaned me like $50 or $100, and I was like, hey, I'll get it back to you in like 7 days or whatever. Totally forgot. I think it was like a month later. I happened to come across something. I was like, oh shit, I owe Rico $100. Literally, I sent it back. Hey, bro, I just sent you $100 to repay you back from what it. I totally forgot. He goes, well, shit, man. He goes, I totally forgot until you just said something. He goes, I totally forgot that I had even given that to you. I'm like, I said, well, he goes, you could have not said anything and probably not. I was like, yeah, but I know you need it more than I do, so I figured I want to at least pay it back. So it's like, you know, we can look out for each other and whatever, but it's like some people in your life can be hella. It's like family, like relatives, or in my case, my oldest, you know, it's like not really hearing from them, you know. Hell, I think my cousins stopped following me because I was actually posting opportunity stuff, because I'm trying to actually like find something that would actually get me off the road. They're like, wow, he's doing all these scams. No, you guys are just, you know, go ahead, go work your jobs, you know, go clock in till you're 65 or whatever, and you just, you know, make the minimum wage. Go ahead, you know. Like, we can either accept what life's given us, or we can actually, like, especially if you're cool with it, like if you're happy with where you're at, with what you know, with what you're making at your job, the hours you're getting, you know, you're like, I'm happy at my work, like I'm getting paid really well. This is great. If I work another 20 years, I'll get that pension. Okay. Yeah, if that's what you want, you know, then that's awesome. You know, but if that's not what you want, if you want more than that, if you have bigger dreams that you want to accomplish, you want to reach a certain level, then go for it. You know, don't follow the examples of people that basically you're always going to say, well, someday this is going to happen. I plan, oh, someday I'm gonna be in this place. I'm gonna have this big house or whatever. But then they're working that job, collecting their paycheck every week, going on online stores and buying stuff that they don't need, not putting money into savings, not trying to you know, actually like set goals and make a plan, you know. Because if you have big dreams and you're not really taking action steps towards it, that plan is literally it's just a dream. I don't want to look back. The part of why I do what I do is I don't want to look back in like the next 20 or 30 years, look back like still driving still not necessarily like a large amount in the bank, and we're not really financially free. And I look back, I really wish I would have stuck it out, with the such business or whatever, or this investment, or I really wish I would have tried harder over here and actually got myself off the road, been retired the past 20 years and been enjoying life. But instead, because I listen to everybody tell me they're all scams, instead I'm over here. I don't want to be in that position. I want to be in a position where I can look back and be proud of the fact that, hey, we have our house, we have other real estate properties, we have investments, we have savings. Hell, just even saving money. I heard something recently that if you're gonna try to just save with the intent to save for your future, compounding is the way to go. Find an account or stocks or whatever where you can invest, and the interest you gain will go right back into your account, and it'll just then of course you gain interest on the new balance. It's Sophie, for instance, or some people pronounce it SoFi. It's SOFI, but I pronounce it Sophie. But they're a really cool bank. Literally, you can do a checking, a savings. You can do crypto with them. You can do stocks, investments, whatever. Their savings account is actually higher interest than a regular my my savings account with my USAA account. I think it's point something, 0.5, 0.2, 0.5, 0.3, something percent. It's ridiculous. It's not very much. Sophie's 3%. I mean, that's not a lot. That's not a high percentage, but hey, that's better than point something. And then any interest you get, then you're gonna get that interest applied to your account monthly. That means that grows your balance by that little bit, and that means that you're gaining interest on that as well. So it's simple things like that. Put money every week, $50 or $100 into a savings account. That has as high of interest. If you get a high yield account, you can find a high interest account, saving money in every week, and then let the interest add to it, let it grow. Or if you can invest in stocks and have it set up to where any dividends you get basically reinvested back in to buy more stocks or whatever. Little things like that. And of course, I'm saying all this, and I'm gonna do a little disclaimer. I'm not a finance guy. I'm not a financial advisor. Obviously, for advice, obviously go speak to your financial advisor, finance counselor, whatever, your banker, whatever. But to say what I've heard, what I've learned recently through research, because I'm looking now all right, I want to start racking up savings. I want to get investments. I plan to get a couple of real estate things, houses that we can rent, or even go bigger, apartment complexes, whatever. And I know once we start, and then we have multiple streams coming in, things are going to be a lot easier, because once you have money, once you're making enough and you have a surplus of it, it's a lot easier at that point to make other moves and make more stuff happen, and then compound it. I have friends on Facebook that, they have these big teams underneath them. And so they're always trying to post and try to get more people on their team. Hey guys, looking for people that are, interested in financial freedom, blah, blah, blah. And talk about, I'm one of the top earners. And I'm yeah, but here's the thing, you came in that business, you already had a lot of money when you got involved. You were able to go all in and buy all these different packages, these different nodes, whatever. And you got 200 people that joined you, so you made money on them. So yeah, you're doing well. And so it's easy to turn around with all the money you're making, and hey, I've got to get more nodes. I'm gonna do this and do that. I'm one of the highest earners. I'm doing it. Yeah, but myself, I'm digging out of a hole. Paying off debts that I got into to get us up here, which I don't regret. It was definitely worth it. It sucks because I knew it would take me a while to do, because I could only do so much every week. I make good money at my job, but I have housing costs and car payments and everything, all the bills together. And I know as things get paid off, that'll be more money that won't be going out to bills, so that'll make things easier too. We can go, hey, I'm gonna invest this now, or put that in savings, let the interest grow on that. But when you don't have the money, a surplus of it, it just takes you a minute, but you can still do it. It's possible. So just keep pushing forward, keep trying, knock out what you can, you know, baby steps. Pay off this debt, pay off that debt. Try your best not to take on new debt, you know. And except for in cases like, part of what I'm looking to do as I build my credit is I'm hoping to be able to, at some point, maybe get a business loan, and then turn that business loan into other investments that'll bring in other streams of income, like real estate or, you know, whatever. So that way it's like, because I've heard of like rich business people that's how they got where they are, is that they utilized credit, like, you know, debt and whatnot, to then do other investments. And then, of course, through what they made with those investments, they paid off the debt, and then they're able to get more debt and get another loan or whatever, to then turn that into more investments, which bring in even more money. And before they know it, they have all these streams of income coming in, and they, you know, they can use the profit they have coming in to then start other stuff, or they can continue getting, you know, taking out loans to do, you know, using debt to leverage it, you know. So definitely been going on a little bit too long in this episode, so I apologize, but I hope you guys found some value in it. I always try to come on here and keep it real with you, you know. If you liked what you heard, like, follow, tell your friends, you know. I'll throw some links out there for you. Again, I'm going to try to put the website on there for that gum that helps rebuild your teeth, or helps repair your teeth. BlodgettShow.com/gum. And hell, you can even start getting paid with that too when you buy it, you know, make a purchase. They'll send you an email basically, hey, you want to get paid to actually tell people about it? Because I was like, I didn't have to pay anything to become an affiliate. I literally was like, oh, cool, all right, yeah, sure, I'll tell people, because I ordered because I saw the value in the product. I was like, oh, cool, gum that actually helps your teeth. That's awesome, you know. Anything I believe in, I'll tell people about, because I figure I'm always out here I'm not out here to like just make money on people. I'm out here to help people, you know, try to do what I can, you know. But so BlodgettShow.com/gum for that. And for anybody who wants to support the show, BlodgettShow.com/support or BlodgettShowPodcast.com/support. That's a donation link or whatever for anybody who wants to donate anything to the show, whether it's $1 or whether it's $500. You know, every little bit helps. I appreciate it in advance. Thank you so much. Every little bit basically will go towards trying to make any future advancements on the show to make it better, you know. But let's see, socials, you can find us and follow us on social at on Instagram at Blodgett Show Podcast. You can follow me, my personals, on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at TN Trucker Chris. You can find me on Twitter X at CEAZFreedom, and you can find me on YouTube literally at ChristopherBlodgett. It's up in the air whether I would start a YouTube specifically for the show, or if I do videos for the show, I might just do it on my regular YouTube channel and just continue to grow that channel, so that way it's just, you know. But for now, you can find me on there at ChristopherBlodgett. And I do have a blog, tntruckerchris.wordpress.com. Kind of been inactive on that for a minute, but eventually I'll be doing more, you know, once I get the offices set up and I'm starting to write more, I might start doing blogs a little bit more and have another avenue of somewhere to post the articles that are written for the episodes. You know, post those on the blog too. You know, more places online for the show to be visible to people. So on that note, guys, we'll also check out my bro Rico's podcast, BlodgettShow.com/Rico, RICCO. And I believe for the other opportunity, I think I had listed on the site as well, for like the nodes and for like the coins and whatnot, for the crypto nodes and the like PNIC tokens and stuff like that. BlodgettShow.com/crypto, CRYPTO. And I think I mentioned I was probably gonna put like a YouTube video on that page as well to tell you guys, to kind of so like you guys could go see what this Bellator with the Mediterra with the crypto nodes and whatnot, what it's all about. I just haven't done it yet. I gotta put that on there so I can give it to you guys. But for now, I at least got the sign up link, the BlodgettShow.com/crypto. It's free to create an account, and you can see what products they have, what the coins and the nodes and whatnot. So I think right now they're offering a deal where you get like 4 CPU nodes for like $2,200, which normally those are easily $1,300 each. So you're getting like half off for each one. I'm like, well, if I had it, I would totally do it myself, but you know. But I've got a few big things I'm working on with like getting the dog into the vet for her heartworm treatments, and get the wife's car taken care of, and get, you know, the escrow fund for our house to start our lease purchase in August. You know, it's literally got like $6,000 worth of stuff that I'm working on putting money aside to take care of, and so I'm like, yeah, I don't have $2,000 to commit to that right now. So, but like I said, guys, knocking out what you can every paycheck, every week, just taking it 1 week at a time. And so I'm knocking out this, then knocking out that, and then I'm taking care of this. And it's like, it's slow, but then I know eventually things are gonna, it's like what I talked about before, where when like the wheels are like free spinning, like in the mud or whatever, and you know, they free spin for a while, they free spin, and eventually they catch on something solid, and it just takes off. That's literally what we're doing in life. Like, we just gotta keep trying, and even if you stay where you're at for a while, you know, you're making this attempt, you're making that attempt, you're trying to change this, trying to change that, and then all of a sudden something happens, like you figure something out, or you start making sales, or let's say you write a book, and all of a sudden the book sales just start happening. It takes off, almost you have money coming in, things are getting paid, you're able to buy your house, you're able to pay off your debts or whatever. You're like, oh my god, oh man, that actually happened. I'm here now. This is great. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, just we gotta keep at it until it just, you know, it will happen. The things you want to happen in life, as long as you keep working towards it, they will get there. They will happen. So, talked your guys' ear off long enough, but I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I hope everybody has a blessed rest of your week. I know by the time I talk to you on the next one, it'll be after the 4th, because I know this will post on like, I think it's technically like, I think the last day of the month, because I think the 1st is like Wednesday. Because I think 4th is Saturday, I believe. So next weekend, or this upcoming weekend after this episode posts, I may actually, it's like a flip of a coin. I may have a regular weekend off, like Saturday and Sunday, or I may have to work Saturday on the 4th, because it really depends on if there's loads that need to run to St. Louis or not. So the way I approach it, I'm going to expect to work that day, but my manager may very well call and be like, it's up to you if you want the day off. If he gives me the choice, I'll be like, sure, I'll take the day off. I'll take the extra time. Not going to complain. So anyway, guys, keep pushing forward, and I will talk to you guys on the next one. Have a good one.